summer of 2001. I was 19 years old. We were generally up to no good. It was a summer we were taking LSD, PCP, opium, pills, alcohol, all kinds of different things, DMT, mescaline mushrooms, and we were generally just up to no good. And one night we got into our head that we were going to drive around. Well, Seth and Liberty, they got pills by the bottle of volume. After drinking all day, we started popping them like M&Ms. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I was hanging out, and the next thing I knew, I was on the roof of a car. Now, the car was moving, and I had a black and tan can in my hand. I didn't know why. And as it was swerving, I waited for it to stop. It wasn't going to stop. It just kept going faster and faster. And I pounded on the roof for it to stop. There was no answer. So I realized I had to let the beer can go. And with one last swig, I let it go, and it flew into the wind behind the Monte Carlo. It was an early 90s, late 80s, big car like a boat. And as it swerved to the right, I started to slide to the left, and I realized very quickly that if I fell off the side, I was going under the back tire. I couldn't tolerate that, but I didn't know what to do. And I thought to myself, well, what would Batman do? So, I thought you let go, and you glide off the back of the car and try to land on your feet. So that's what I did. I did what Batman would do. I let go, and I saw in the back window my friend Seth staring at me. It was an odd look on his face. And I hit the ground. Yeah, I hit the ground, my feet bounced off it, my head bounced off of a parking block. And with a loud crack and a crunch, I saw a white and a black flash. And it's weird how time slows down. All I could think was, oh no, that's not good. So I sat up and I was wet, soaking wet. And I look around and I realized there's no water anywhere. It was blood. Yeah, I was bleeding from the back of my brain. At that time I didn't know, through my skull and out of my ear. And I wasn't too upset about it. In fact, I was kind of thrilled. But my friends were in a panic and an uproar. And I remember bits and pieces and flashes of the evening as they drove over the curb and popped the two front tires to get to a telephone booth. Back then they had telephone booths. And for some reason, when the police came, Seth had an ice cream sandwich, which I never forgot. He stopped for snacks. And to this day, I still hold a resentment. And in the next 10 years, I will do something about that, but I regress from the story right now. So the police asked, well, what happened? And I lied, and I told them I was sitting on the back of the car, and, you know, she drove, and I fell. And he looked at me and he's like, son, people don't get that fucked up from falling. And the ambulance came and I tried to tell them what to do and they laughed at me and they put a neck brace on. And then they shoved a tube down my throat as they asked questions. I faded out. And then I came to. Well, I was in the hospital. And the doctors were there, and my mom was there. She was in tears, and they asked me two simple questions. Who's the president, and what pet do you have? And I knew what they were trying to do. They thought I had brain damage, so I told them it was Sassy. I had that cat in kindergarten, and that the president was Reagan, and my mom immediately burst into tears. Then I told them I'm fucking with Emmett Bush. Get this neck brace off of me immediately. And that was the first time I went to rehab. They had me 302. Where I proceeded to meet the love of my life for the next 2 weeks. I don't remember her name. I remember what she looks like, though. And that's the the end of the story in the beginning one, but I do remember this. Well, I caught a bus and I saw an old friend and he looked at me and he looked shocked and scared. He ran off the bus. And later I found out that everybody had told him that I was dead. There is no moral of the story. And there's really no closure in life.